Hello, cell phone scholars. It's been a long 2 years. I've been in China teaching English and history and science, and I'm back because of the COVID-19 crisis, which does give me a chance to make some YouTube videos. And I wanted to jump right where I left off. You'll notice the vest is missing. I left all my suits in China. Sad, I know. For those of you who don't know, I am Professor Markley.
Not a real professor, but I play one on YouTube.
And I like to review apps that are educational, that promise to teach you something if you use them every day. This week, we're going to look at DailyArt, an art history app made by the Museum Group, based in Warsaw. Let's jump into it. As usual, we're going to start with the promise. I can't grade a bunch of different apps based on the same criteria every time without considering what is their purpose, what are they trying to convey. DailyArt's mission is vague and lofty. According to their About page, they seek to use art to inspire and enrich the lives of the people that view them. According to the brain behind the project, Zuzana Stanska, they also educate. With one piece of art that they send out to their users every day, there's a short text about it. They want it to be short, simple, and educational, easy to remember. For purposes of this review, I'll be using her definition. It's a lot easier to grade, is the artwork a memorable piece with a memorable blurb, rather than did I feel inspired. The history. I like to include the history of the app so you know kind of where it started and who made it. I emailed Miss Stanska, and she was very kind, and she gave me answers to some of my questions, one of which was the history. And these are her words. It was in 2012. I was bored to death while being on all-inclusive holidays. It was my first and the last time I went for an all-inclusive. Horrible experience. And I started to think about art history education. I'm from Poland, and the art education here is horrid. You won't find a lot of it in the public schooling. The museums back then weren't very friendly places, and I thought that it was a shame that because of all that a lot of people is missing, all that joy art gives. I thought that only a simple format could change that. Back then, I was fascinated how museums started to use mobile apps, and I thought that maybe an app can be used to deliver art history knowledge in a simple and educative way. My initial thoughts. With education apps, my initial thoughts usually run in two different directions when I start to see it. How is this different than a multiple choice quiz? Or how is this different than just reading Wikipedia? When starting with DailyArt, my thoughts immediately turned to that second question. It's not a repetitive action. You're not going to gain a skill by using this app every day. It's a curated experience. It's an art museum tour guide in your pocket. DailyArt is free, but it has a pro version for a one-time payment of $6. It was $3 when I started making this, and it still might be because of the COVID epidemic. The pro version gives you full access to their archive. It lets you have a favorites page, and there's no ads. The review. For those that don't know, I'll grade this app in three distinct areas. Design. Is it good to look at? Easy to use. Fun. Does it feel like a chore to do? Or is it like a game? And worth. Does it help you do the things it says it will help you do? Obviously, not everything worth doing is fun. Not everything fun is easy to do. And not everything pretty is substantive. The design. There's not much to DailyArt. You log in, there's a picture of some art, its name, the artist's name, the sharing functions, and then the article. The purple and pink color scheme is inoffensive and cute. The search function is easy to manage. The layout is uncomplicated. It even comes with multiple different languages and Google Translate for those that they haven't translated themselves. It is remarkably user-friendly and easy to use. Good colors, good format, good structure. I wouldn't expect less from an art app. Design, A. The fun. Is this app more fun than just going into Wikipedia's art section? Yes. But by how much? When I asked Miss Stanska about this quandary, she replied with, and these are her words, "We serve much more enjoyable texts. We don't use encyclopedic language. We focus on interesting aspects of the masterpieces. We also have a unique selection of masterpieces. We do, of course, feature the museum classics, but we often feature masterpieces, which aren't that well known, but equally inspiring and interesting. The fun to this app is in their curation. The joy of stumbling upon something that has to do with the world around us today. They try and make the paintings they choose fit the theme of the day. And it's arguably more interesting than a Wikipedia page. Their curators have a character to them, and it makes their text enjoyable to read. It's the difference between walking around a museum by yourself or walking around with a knowledgeable curator. It's enjoyable, and the texts keep my interest. But is it fun? I could see more activities making this app more fun. Maybe an interactive exhibit designed by some of the curators, paintings that have something in common. Maybe even just simple achievements to say, oh, you viewed all of Van Gogh's paintings, here's a gold star. Just something to do to keep me on the app. I wasn't bored, but it didn't engage me. Fun, C+. The worth. Going back to the promise, does this app give you a piece of artwork a day with a memorable blurb? At this time, looking through the app at the paintings I viewed, I can remember things about them even a few weeks later. I can't quite always remember the painter or the title of the painting, but every one of them has a piece that stuck out to me. The Head of a Moor, Barren Snow, Monk by the Sea, Truth Coming Out of Her Well. Each of these, when I view them, I can remember something about their story, be it a friend of the artist who was in multiple other paintings, the cultural benchmark, the other paintings by a similar artist, or why truth is naked. I'm not sure what I was supposed to remember from all these articles, but I see them and I remember something. I was going to give this a B. It's a vague promise, but I do still remember things. And yet, remember that part about them saying that you'd be inspired by this app? I devoured the article about Monk by the Sea. I followed it to Caspar David Frederick's artist page. I read about him there. I viewed his art. I was awestruck. Next thing I knew, I have a canvas print of his work, The Three Stages of Life, on my living room wall. Unarguable evidence that I at least was inspired by this app. Worth A-. In the end, this is an educational app unlike a lot of the ones I've done before. Language is a skill. Coding is a skill. Finding countries on a globe is a skill. Picking out parts of the anatomy is a skill. DailyArt isn't teaching you a skill. It's there and it's asking you to take a break and look at some art. It does what it promises. It looks nice. There's just not much more to it than that. I'm going to give it a B+. If you're the type of person who is kind of uninitiated in art and just looking to experience some art without feeling overwhelmed by it, DailyArt is a good app for you. If you're looking for something that has more learning potential, more studiousness, maybe go somewhere else. But as I said, B+. Next time, in about 2 weeks, I'll be doing a video about Investmate. It's an app that promises to teach you how to invest in the stock market, and we'll see how it does.
Thank you. Remember to like and subscribe and check out some of my older videos up there. As always, keep learning.